19th, 2019 at 5:30 p.m. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Here.
Councilmember Heenan.
Here.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Here.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please read the certification of the prior meetings.
This is to certify that an official copy of the minutes of the Common Council meeting of Tuesday, February 5th, 2019 was presented to the mayor on Thursday, February 14th, 2019. Pursuant to Section 3.03 of the Dunkirk City Charter, all items presented to the mayor are now in full force and effect. In witness whereof, I have here to set my hand and the seal of the city of Dunkirk, New York, this 19th day of February, 2019.
I need a motion dispensing with the reading of the minutes. So moved. Councilman Williams with the first.
Second.
Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan. Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Reading of the privilege of the floor regulations.
The privilege of the floor shall be extended to any person appearing for themselves, in which case the individual shall be limited to 3 minutes, and to any person representing a group who shall be limited to 5 minutes. When recognized, please stand and state your name and address. The city clerk shall have the duty of maintaining such time limits, and the councilman at large may determine in his discretion whether individuals are speaking for themselves or representing groups. Councilman at large Voisin shall maintain good order and may require any speaker to cease speaking if remarks are made in bad taste, are slanderous, or non-germane to any action taken or contemplated by council. The time limits specified shall be strictly adhered to, except that a speaker may be allowed to complete a statement or thought started before such time has expired.
With that said, privilege of the floor is now open. If anybody wishes to speak, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address.
Hello, my name is David Kozwara. I live at 3738 East Lakeshore Drive in Dunkirk. And I'd like to bring to the Common Council's attention that toxic substances are being placed into our sewer systems. I do have a picture of it, and I've talked to Mr. Woodbury about it. And I'd like to know, does the Common Council aware of half the stuff that goes on in this facility? The monitoring system, someone gave them the opportunity to know when these tests occur, so they have ample time to flush the lines out into the city of Dunkirk sewer systems, so they would get a clean test. And as speaking as with Mr. Woodbury, that on a random test, they were caught having barium going down their system, which everybody knows barium, mercury, highly carcinogenic. I know this to be a fact because I have worked there for 18 years and 7 months. The things I have seen go through that place, the things that are allowed to happen, such as having access to that manhole for them to flush the lines out, I could not even fathom this in any facility in any way, shape, or form. And I just wanted to know that, is the Common Council aware? I know they were there. I'm not sure it was all the Common Council, but a lot of staff members from the city of Dunkirk were at the facility and given a tour. I asked to come speak to you guys because at the time I was presently working there. They refused me access to come see anybody that was there because they knew for a fact that I was going to tell them exactly what goes on there and show them. I have in the past called OSHA on this facility, and kind of a laughing joke, because they give Stericycle a 3-day notice to come in. They always have. I don't know how these practices can continue to happen in a facility where their credo is protect people, reduce risk. And I'm always speaking of the sewer side of the system. Inside air quality, everybody knows who's ever been by the facility or in it, the smell is unbelievable, but there are times where toxics you cannot see and you cannot breathe. There is no air quality monitoring system other than CO2. How is this allowed to be when chemicals are being treated, steamed, that does not negate the power of the chemical? Now, it may kill spores, biological, but as for chemicals, all it does is make it airborne. And I just wanted to bring it to council's attention. I'm following up on this. And basically, that's what I have to say. At this, I wanted to bring it to the common council and to the public's attention. If anybody would like to see a picture of what is actually going down our drains, I do have it. And be more than willing to show it, share it with anybody here, anybody in the public that wants to see it. But this is something I wholeheartedly believe should not exist and never should, and should be severely monitored. Because, as I say, for the monitoring system, they should not know when that system is going to be testing. And if that place is operational and working, anything that comes out of that into our systems should be checked. Because, like I said, on a sporadic barium, nobody wants barium in our drinking water, showering water, or the city workers that have to go into these sewer systems to work.
If I can ask, if I can interrupt, I don't even know what place you're talking about.
Oh, Stericycle Medical Waste.
Oh, okay. You kept saying they, and I don't know.
I'm sorry. First time ever speaking out.
Okay. This is the first I'm hearing about this. I can't speak for the other council people as well, but it's something that we can follow up on with the city attorney, the mayor, and Randy Woodbury.
Okay. As will I. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address.
My name is Mary Ann Boris. I live at 30 West Fifth Street, and I'm here to speak regarding the Hospital Reuse Committee. There are no representatives from our neighborhood, the neighborhood being the Academy Heights neighborhood and the Washington Park neighborhood. We have no representatives on it at all. We have Steve Reese, who is representing Revitalize Dunkirk, but he's not representing our neighborhood. I implore each and every one of you that is on that committee, Mayor Rosas, Councilman Bamanto, Councilman Heenan, please keep us in mind when they are talking about what they are going to do with this, and ask yourself the question, would I want to live next to that? Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Boris. Anybody else wishing to speak, please step forward to the microphone and state your name and address.
Hi, Jim Fisher with Revitalize Dunkirk. I just want to let you know our February monthly meeting is on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. at the Fredonia Technology Incubator just down the street. So any of you can just walk down the street and check us out. Also, our guest speakers are going to be Diane Hannum and Ida Lord from the NCCF, or the Northern Chautauqua County, or Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation. And I just want to mention that Revitalize Dunkirk, through the work of the Beautification Committee, was awarded a $1,500 grant from NCCF for trash receptacles, recycling receptacles for Wright Park and Main Street beaches. So that's a good thing. And we're going to be working with the city on the receptacles themselves and everything. So also, we have a new logo that's going to be unveiled at the meeting, so we're all excited about that. And we also support the resolution on renaming the main or large pavilion at the Point Gratiot also. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Anyone else wishing to speak, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Hurtgen. I am here on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Historical Society of Dunkirk. I live at 307 Chestnut Street, the other Chestnut Street in Fredonia. I'm on the board because I happened to turn the wrong way and someone said he's on the board, but I'm delighted to be so. I am here for two reasons. First, to speak on behalf of Resolution 1320-2019 that was alluded to by Jim. This is the resolution to name the pavilion at Point Gratiot after the Brooks Locomotive Works. I don't want to go on at length because the resolution states at more than ample length the reasons why it makes sense to honor the contribution of the Brooks family to the, really in a way, the creation of the city of Dunkirk. It was a small village of 3,000 people. It grew within a very short time to 11,000 souls, and much of that having to do with the place of the Brooks Locomotive Works in this city. So I hope the council will see the wisdom of making that change, and I want to assure you that the Historical Society is here to help in that process in any way we can. My second reason for coming before you this evening is to extend the gratitude of the Board of Trustees of the Historical Society to the Common Council and to the Mayor for your continued support of the Historical Society. It is crucial to our operation and to our growth. We are deeply appreciative of that. We recognize that every dollar is difficult to come up with, and so the dollars that you direct to us we understand to be an investment and a challenge. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Herkin.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak, please step forward to the microphone and state your name and address. Anybody else wishing to speak, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address. Seeing none, privilege of the floor is now closed. Number 5, communications from the mayor, including disapproval messages. Mayor?
Mr. Chairman, I just have 2 quick announcements. I just want to report to the council and to the public that recently I was appointed to the committee for the reuse of the hospital, and I do plan to keep this council informed and updated on these meetings as we progress. The next meeting is on February 22nd, this Friday, from 9 to 10 a.m. at the SUNY Fredonia Incubator. And then the other thing, I just wanted to, again, let the council members and the public know that on April 28th, the Great Lakes Offshore Grand Prix powerboat race that was conducted here in the city of Dunkirk will be shown on CBS Sports. This will be televised nationally and shown internationally. This is a really big thing for the city to be showcasing our waterfront here. And again, the date will be the 28th. We'll be advertising that date. We have connected with the school system to perhaps get a big screen and watch it in their auditorium. But we'll be putting out more information on that as we confirm it. But that's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Communications from the public and petitions. Clerk?
Number 1, request from Tim Doviath on behalf of the First Ward Falcons Club to use Promenchenko Stadium and Cooks Field on July 19th, 20th, and 21st, 2019 to host their 44th annual First Ward Falcons Club Fast Pitch Softball Tournament.
Any discussion? I'm looking for a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions.
So move.
Councilman Williams with the first, Councilman Bamanto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Voisin.
Aye.
Number 2, request from David and Kathleen Woodward on behalf of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital to host their first annual motorcycle blessing on May 11, 2019 at the Large Pavilion at Point Gratiot from 9 a.m. till 1 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none, I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions.
So move.
Councilman Williams with the first, Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Voisin.
Aye.
Number 3, request from Tim Dovias on behalf of the First Ward Falcons Club to use Promenchenko Stadium in Cooks Field on Saturday, May 11, 2019 to hold the Early Bird Fast Pitch Softball Tournament.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions. Councilman Bamanto with the first, Councilman Williams with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voloshin.
Aye.
Number 4, request from the Dunkirk Harbor Commission for approval of commercial bait fishing applications.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion to refer this to the appropriate departments, as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions.
So moved.
Councilman Williams with the first.
Second.
Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan. Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voloshin.
Aye.
Number 5, request from Officer Darren McIntyre and Sergeant Mark Gruber on behalf of the City of Dunkirk Police Benevolent Association to use the use of Lakefront Boulevard for the second annual Hazelton 5K to be held on July 14, 2019.
Any discussion, council? I'm looking for a motion to refer this to the appropriate departments, as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions.
First.
Councilman Bamanto with the first.
Second.
Councilman Williams with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan. Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voloshin.
Aye.
Number 6, request from Gregory Nelson and Laura Wood to use a small portion of the beach at Wright Park Beach for their wedding and to set up an arbor and chairs from G&E Tents on Friday, August 16, 2019 at 6 p.m.
Any discussion, council? I'm looking for a motion to refer to the appropriate departments, as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions. Councilman Bamanto with the first.
Second.
Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan. Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voloshin.
Aye.
Number 7, notice of claim from Richard Gloss for damages allegedly caused when a city sewer backed up in his basement on December 31st, 2018.
I need a motion to refer this to the law department.
So moved.
Councilman Williams with the first.
Second.
Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan. Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voloshin.
Aye.
Number 8, notice of claim from Marilis Arroyo for damages to her vehicle allegedly caused by a falling tree on February 13, 2019 on Swan Street.
I need a motion to refer this to the law department.
So moved.
Councilman Williams with the first. Councilman Bamanto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan. Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voloshin.
Aye. We have 2 loudspeaker applications before us this evening. During the workshop sessions, we went through both of them on an individual basis. There were no questions, concerns, or discussion, so what I'm going to do is group them both together for one vote. However, I'm going to have the clerk read them off individually so you can understand them. Clerk?
Loudspeaker application from Alex Davis to have a band and to use stereo equipment at the large pavilion at Point Gratiot on July 20th, 2019, from 2 p.m. till 4 p.m. Number 10, loudspeaker application from Louis Fred on behalf of the Marksman Veterans Group to have a band at the Hose Foregrounds at Point Gratiot on June 22nd, 2019, from 2 p.m. till 6 p.m.
Any discussion? Council? I need a motion to refer this to the appropriate departments, as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions.
So moved.
Councilman Civiletto with the
Second.
first. Councilman Williams with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan. Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voloshin.
Aye. Reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions. Councilman Williams, the floor is yours.
Director Woodbury, Second and Roberts, how we doing over there with that?
Good, Councilman. We teamed the city electrician with the city's consultant who installed that in the 1980s, and we found another defect there, so you were absolutely right. And I'd like to encourage other people to be as persistent as you are. When you see something that isn't the same, keep at it. It's we did some more electrical analysis and found that one of the loops was not as reliable as it should be, so we're going to fix that. And the police chief has directed me to put it into a safe mode for now until we can get it fixed. So we're going to follow the chief's order. We're going to use that consultant to make the final fix. We're going to put it right back to its design specifications and make it work right. And thank you for telling me it was wrong, because it took me a while to figure that out. It was a complicated set of errors at that light.
Unfortunately, though, just if I can add, Randy, the loop can't be fixed till the weather's above 50 degrees.
Right.
All right.
So, just to let you know.
I'll hold off until I see that the weather is above 50 degrees, then I'll start asking again.
All right.
Saturday, but.
Promise.
More than one day, I'll get.
Randy, Chief, thank you.
Also, just like to say that the DPW committee will be meeting next Wednesday, the 27th, at 4 PM in the mayor's conference room. Also, the council members will be on WDOE's Viewpoints Thursday, the 28th of February. That's at 8:45 a.m. And then I did get that email that the mayor was talking about with the Brooks meeting on Friday. That is, 9 to 10 for it said community in the paper, but is that, you had to get the email to go? What, are they opening that up to people to go there? Does anybody know, or?
I received the same email. It inferred like it was a community meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, because one of the things that I've noticed since we've been when we were doing the protests last week and everybody was coming out, there's a lot of misinformation. I'm hearing from the state level that the Brooks Board is telling them that it's Kalida that's telling them that they need to move for the Kalida and Brooks deal to go through. And Brooks, from what I understand, is saying that it's the state that's putting the stipulation that they need to move on there. So I'm not really into looking for repurposing. I'm still looking into, let's get them to rebuild right there in Dunkirk. So I'm hoping the people, the 75 people that showed up on Friday to march in front of Brooks, I'm hoping that those 75 and maybe 75 more show up in front of the incubator on Friday morning before the meeting starts, so that we can let the Brooks Board know that we're not just looking to repurpose, we're looking to keep Brooks right here in Dunkirk, and that's my goal, and that's gonna be my goal until, I guess, the check from the state's cashed and they rebuild it somewhere else, but that's gonna be the goal I'm pushing for until then. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Councilman Bamato?
Rebecca, can you tell us about the 2 open houses that the city's gonna have next week?
Yeah, we're going to be holding our open house issues and confirmation and design workshop for the comprehensive plan on Monday, the 25th, from 4:30 to 8 o'clock at the Dunkirk High School cafeteria, and on Wednesday, the 27th, from 4:30 to 8 o'clock. These workshops are going to be open house style, so you can come in at any time throughout the night. From 7 to 8 on the Wednesday night, we'll be doing a final presentation on the information that we've gathered from these workshops, as well as the past workshops that we've done for the comprehensive plan. And what these workshops include are looking at the key issues in our city and putting them to pen to paper with design. So we'll have our consultants there, we'll have some designers and architects there to really draw out any ideas and input you have. And this is a great time for the community to come out and voice their opinion on issues such as the reuse of Brooks Hospital or the reuse of NRG site or vacant sites that you have really great ideas for. No idea is a bad idea. We want to hear from you. We want your input for this comprehensive plan and for the future of the city of Dunkirk. So please come out. It's really important to come out and give your input.
Thank you, Rebecca. 2 weekends ago, I attended the first annual Winterfest. I had a great time. The people that I saw there, I know they were having a good time. It was a little cold, but it was a lot of fun. I'd like to thank the mayor for presenting that to the city. It's the first time we've ever had that, and his staff did a wonderful job. Thank you. That's all I got.
Thank you, Councilman Bamato. Councilman Heenan?
Nothing today, sir.
Councilman Civiletto?
I also wanted to congratulate everyone who was involved with the Winterfest. Turned out to do very well for the first year. We can order some warmer weather for next time, but it was a good time. Also wanted to let everyone in the area know that the Adams Art Gallery is having movies this weekend too. So Friday, will be La Dolce Vita, Friday night at 7, and at 7 on Saturday, it's Beauty and the Beast, the original cartoon. And we're going to have food on Saturday. There's popcorn on Friday. So it's a free event, and people are welcome to come and see what's going on with a building that's coming back to life. That's really all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Civiletto. I just want to extend my gratitude to both chiefs. Unfortunately, this past week, I had a family incident where my mother got into a car accident last Tuesday. And I want to thank you guys, and not to single anybody out, but Officer Christopher, firefighters Moscato, and Thomas, and about a dozen other individuals. I appreciate your guys' caring, your guys' patience, and your guys' compassion during the moment. So I want to extend that not only to those individuals I mentioned, but to everybody that was on site. So thank you very much.
Pass that on, thank you.
Thank you. That is all I have. Seeing no unfinished business.
Councilman?
Yes, Randy?
Could I speak at this point? There, just to address the floor message, that there was an apparent accusation against one of the local industries. I'd like to emphasize that that's not a city accusation, that's a private individual's accusation, and the city is working well with that industry to correct any situations. It's also a law enforcement matter that I can't discuss, and it's also been referred to higher authorities. So I just wanted to separate an individual's accusation versus the city. The city's working with us, and we're handling it in the way that we would handle any other. We get these all the time, and we handle them all the time, and we correct them. And this industry right now is behaving well according to our monitoring people at the wastewater treatment plant. So I wanted to make that clear, an individual versus a city on this particular item.
Very good point. Thank you, Randy. Any other further unfinished business? Moving right along to pre-file resolutions, number 13.
Resolution to name Point Gratiot Main Pavilion Brooks Locomotive Works Pavilion.
Any discussion, council? Councilman Williams?
I'd like to thank the two Jims for speaking in favor of this, Mr. Herkin and Mr. Fisher. And I'd also like to thank Paul Sommerfeld, who came to Councilman Bomano and I after the last meeting when we were discussing and passing the letter for the event that was going to be happening through the Chautauqua Historical Society. Mr. Sommerfeld came to us and suggested that we consider naming the large pavilion the Brooks Locomotive Pavilion. So we went forward and contacted the city attorney, and that's where we're at for this resolution here. And that's all I got for that one, I guess.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Any other further discussion? Councilman Civiletto?
I just want to say thank you to the Jims again. And as a former president of the Historical Society, I fully support this resolution, knowing how important Brooks Locomotive was to the city. And like Dr. Herkin said, Dunkirk owes its existence to that industry and the offshoots that came from it. And one thing that's missing in the resolution as far as talking about Brooks himself, he was the first mayor of the city of Dunkirk after it became incorporated when it was a village. So I don't know if it's important enough to put in there, but something that I'd like to at least mention.
Thank you, Councilman Civiletto. Any further discussion? Councilman Heenan?
Yeah, I was originally going to vote no on this, and I'm still up in the air because I would like to have had more community involvement when we're naming some public buildings. It's certainly nothing against Brooks Locomotive. It's really about community involvement and something that the people of this community would have its eye on, and they'll be there for a long time. So I know in the next few moments of how I'm going to vote, but I certainly don't want this to take away from the importance of Brooks Locomotive and their part of history in the city of Dunkirk.
Thank you, Councilman Heenan. Councilman Bomanto?
I'd like to thank James, Jim, and Mr. Sommerfeld for bringing this to our attention and getting the ball rolling on this. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Councilman Bomanto. Well, since I'm the only one that hasn't said anything yet, I guess I might as well. I love this idea. I'm very fond of Brooks Locomotive, being in the real estate industry for the past 20 years. I do recognize what Mr. Civiletto said as far as how the city of Dunkirk grew because of that business. A lot of the larger, beautiful homes that you see on Washington Avenue and Park Avenue, the 700 blocks, are littered with individuals who made their living at Brooks Locomotive and built those houses from scratch. So when Mike says that the city of Dunkirk was built because of that place, he means it literally. There's quite a few things here that wouldn't exist today. So I love this idea. I agree that Brooks Locomotive should have naming rights and be represented, but I also love Sean Heenan's, Councilman Heenan's idea as well about getting community input and naming all the pavilions after businesses and people that have meant so much to the city of Dunkirk since its inception. For those of you who weren't at the workshop session or didn't hear about it on TV, Councilman Heenan's idea was to have a public poll, possibly through the Observer, and us offering maybe a list of 10 names and having the public vote on naming rights for the pavilions. As you can see, we have some loudspeaker permits and some reservations today, and we're always asking people, well, can they reserve the large pavilion? Can they reserve the small pavilion? Sort of vague and not really personal. So I love this resolution. I love Sean Heenan's idea. So hopefully in the next few weeks, you will possibly see a poll in the Dunkirk Observer, hopefully, if we can massage them into helping us out with that one, and brainstorming some possible naming rights to the rest of the pavilions, not only necessarily at Point Gratiot, but maybe something at Wright Park as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there for anybody that didn't see the workshop session. So with that said, clerk, call the roll. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Richard?
Just noticed the typo, just want to fix before we vote. The last sentence of the fifth whereas should read until their eventual closing or exodus. It was an F instead of an R. Sorry about that, just caught that.
If you can please make note of that typo. Yes. I need a motion, since this is a local, no, it's not. The next two are. Clerk, please make note of the typo. Otherwise, clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
No.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
No, and that's only because I would like to see it all done at one time as a group, especially since the 150th anniversary is in August, so we do have some time to do it all as one group. Motion passes. Number 14.
Resolution for intro to local law changing master electrician test.
Discussion, Randy?
I'm going to defer to Glenn on that one.
Traditionally, the licensing examination for electricians is given here, and now we're proposing, after several years, to have it a standardized test administered by the International Code Council. Licensing will still remain the same, that they still have to apply to the city after passing the examination.
Any further discussion? Since this is a local law change, this will have to be tabled. Anybody want to make a motion to table it?
So moved.
Councilman Williams with the motion. Need a second. Councilman Bamanto. Clerk, call the roll for tabling.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Motion is tabled until March 5th. We will also have a public hearing on this particular resolution scheduled for March 5th at 5:20 PM. That is prior to that City of Dunkirk Council meeting. Clerk, number 15.
Number 15, resolution for intro to local law new sewer usage rate for high threshold usage.
Any discussion, council? Councilman Williams?
Can we get an explanation on the record for that?
Either from Mark or Randy?
Yeah, either or. The
Want me to go?
discussion we had at the workshop.
All right.
So that we have it on the record.
Mark decided I'm going to start this one and then hand the baton to him, so here we go. This is an opportunity to provide an economy of scale for usage at our wastewater plant. There's some large industries that would like to buy a larger permit. That's going to be a bigger expense to them, but they realize that on a unit cost, as they give us more waste, the per unit is going to cost less. So in order to recognize that economically, they pay the higher permit, but they get a slightly reduced cost per unit within that permit. So it essentially would be a wash so that they can reinvest that money into their operations. And Mark?
Mr. Woods, anything to add?
Randy has pretty much summed it up. That's exactly what it was.
Okay. Any further discussion, council? I will need a motion to table this, since this is a local law change as well.
So moved.
Councilman Williams with the first, Councilman Bamanto with the second. Clerk, call the roll on tabling.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan. Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vorsham.
Aye. Resolution is tabled. This will also have a public hearing on March 5th at 5:25 PM, which is prior to the start of the meeting at 5:30. No more pre-filed resolutions. Do I have any new business walking in? Seeing none, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Councilman Williams with the first, Councilman Heenan with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan. Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vorsham.
Yeah, don't forget, we got to get interviewed tonight from Gandalf.